Yeah. He quoted the Gemara in Shabbos, the Maharal on Nun Hey Yom and Aleph, Nun Hey, second column. Just began that famous Chazal. Ton Rabbanon had Ne'lovim Olvim, those who are embarrassed and don't embarrass others, they don't react. Shom Cherposan, they listen to the disgrace and Yeshiva, they don't respond. Osem Yavo, and what they do is through, as a result of Avos Hashem, Smechem B'Yisurim, they rejoice in their suffering. Aleim HaKosav Omer V'Ovav Kitzeis Hashem Shavuroso, those who love Hashem, they will come out, they will emanate like the sun in its strongest point. Bir Dovazer Ki Anelovim Sheim Mekabnim Ispalus Ve'enim Polnim B'Achirim. If you're embarrassed, that means you're affected by the embarrassment. And despite the fact they're embarrassed, they don't react to do the same to the one who embarrasses them. Dovazer Moral Midas Hapshitus Lagamri. This reveals the simplicity of the person. Kashu Nela Ve'eno Olev. You know, it's like a person says, it's okay. Even though you're embarrassed, you don't react. It shows a certain purity in the person, a simplicity in the person, meaning a humility in the person. Because if you don't have the humility, the pain, you know, who are you to insult me? Right? So how do you not react? Well, you're sticking up for yourself. But if you let it pass, what does that mean, you let it pass? It's okay. It doesn't mean anything. As much as you hurt me, there's no reason for me to react. The one who embarrasses the other one has a degree of azus. Of azus, has insolence, is brazen. I mean, how do you have a right to embarrass another person knowing you're going to embarrass him? The answer is the person is irrelevant. His existence is irrelevant. His feelings are irrelevant. Right? So it's an arrogance. It's an arrogance. How do you go embarrass another person? But your reaction is because he embarrassed me. He disgraced me. Even then. To react, you still have to have that characteristic of azus, that even though it's justified, it is justified, because you have a right to defend yourself, but that you're able to react or to respond that way is in the case you have that characteristic of azus. And he's responding with this fierceness, the one who disgraces him. And the person who has this ability to respond in this intense way, it's an indication he doesn't have midas apshita, he doesn't have the simplicity. Those who embarrass don't embarrass others. That's an indication that they don't have this midah, this characteristic of azus. Anyone who displays this azus, this brazenness, this arrogance, this insolence, he's leaving the classification of simplicity, of being simple. It is not even a question. He doesn't have that insolence, that brazenness to respond. He listens to his disgrace. Same idea. You know, everybody has a problem. Let's get some problem verses. Why is God picking on me? Persons have that even if they don't verbalize it. Why? What does person need to have that reaction? Why you're so perfect? Nobody's perfect. So that you feel that it's unjust, that you should be chosen to be punished or to suffer, that's an indication that you have a sense of your entitlement, or you have a sense of you're not deserving of this. Evidently, God chose you to be punished. You're supposed to be punished. The answer is, but you don't see it that way, and that's why you have this reaction. So a person who's Makabel Yisur Miyavo, out of love, he sees it clearly. If Hashem did it, it's clear because it's in his best interest. And whatever you do is Ma'avo, it's all that. You know, like sometimes you say, persons like it's a degree of naivete. He's naive. It's that, you know, that's the simplicity. It emanates from being naive. Because if he would see it the way it is, he wouldn't behave this way. He wouldn't serve this way. he wouldn't treat people with such gentleness. Rather than attributing to his tzidkus, to that, they travel, it's part of his personality. That's his temperament. Go ahead.
The thought always comes back to me. The man is in a concentration camp. He sees his children being murdered, he sees his parents being murdered, and he's there. How can you pray if you ever do with simcha?
Again, if a person believes that ultimately Hashem is dyna emes, that whatever God does is just, although we don't understand it. So why can't a person pray with simcha? If you have that level of emunah, that level of belief.
How many people are
Okay, it's a level.
capable of that?
Okay, but it's within a person's capacity that he can do it. Conceptually, you understand you could be at that level. See, you're saying, but how many people are at that level? But if it's within a person's capacity, it could be at that level. What's one thing to do another? Let me ask you a question. A person lost everything. After the war, he doesn't know how he's going to continue in life. He has no finance. Somebody says they found a relative left you $5 million to begin your life over again. Do you have, at that moment, when you hear that, does the person have a sense of joy? I'm asking you. Otherwise, he can't go forward. Cannot continue living. Does he have a sense of joy? I'm not saying he'll live, always be elated because of it, but for that moment, would he have a sense of joy? There's no question he would. Unless he wants to end his life. He says nothing's worth living for. But a person wants to continue. Right? There's no question. This is the basis why he can continue. Otherwise, he can't continue. Without that financial or whatever infusion that he has. So if you believe, if one's emunah is at that level, Hashem, he's the one. Without him, the world doesn't go on. And everything's a test in life. There's no question it's a test, a very serious test. Hear this? See, a person who's embarrassed and he's affected. He's weak, a person's weak-spined. Right? That's the reason. And therefore, they don't have what it takes to respond. A person's a weak-type person. He said that person is like the sun in its strongest moment. The radiance of the sun, which is light, it's not a tangible light. Don't minimize it. The reason why they shine and radiate like the sun is because there's a common denominator between them and the sun, the rays of the sun. The three things mentioned here in the Brisa. Ne'lovim ve'nemovim. Dov's Midas Yaakov. That's the characteristic of Yaakov. He called Nelav who nirdaf. Lohoya nirdaf rak yaksha nirdaf nikol. A person who's pursued. You're a fugitive. Everybody despises you. You're being pursued by everyone. What does it mean? He was nirdaf nikol. Well, where did he find he was nirdaf nikol? We find he was nirdaf from Esav, right after he took the Bechorah, and from Lavan. That's probably that was a good part of his life. He came to Egypt. He was in Nirdaf. Spent 34 years in Egypt. V'akach zocha midas Avram shnikra Avram Oavi. Kach Omar Osemi Avo. V'akach zocha midas Yitzchak Shemero Hoyu Maschil Hayisurim. My age, since the first one to age was what? Was Avram Avinu. Yisurim was what? Was Yitzchak. Illness was Yaakov. Ki Yitzchak Chidish HaYisurim Klol Dover Elu Gimel Midos Lovos. The Ovos, they had these three characteristics. Kashi Yeshlo Gimel Midos Elu was Nemar Olav Va'oav of K'teis Hashem Shukuroso. The person possesses all three. He's a composite of the Ovos HaKadoshim, their characteristic. Therefore, when he comes forth, he shines like the sun at its strongest moment. Yodua Ki Hashem Ish Klula Mi Gimel. U'ur b'masham pirkei Rebbe Lezer, al shemesh ksuvim gimel osios mishmo yizborach. Quotes Pirkei Rebbe Lezer that three of the letters of Hashem have relevance to the sun. Ishal gimel malochem anhigim oso. Kachon Pirkei Rebbe Lezer. Dvormei lebruim legamrin mevidim v'daibozeh. He doesn't want to discuss it more. Ashri lo mishiesh lo midazos shunela ve'ena meshiv. Voilo mishu minan malivim. Woe to the one who embarrasses, rather than one who's being embarrassed. I told you, Rav Shizgal Zechat Tzaddik Levrocha, Moshe's son-in-law, he was this type of person. I told you, it was known, Rav Aaron Kotler Zechat Tzaddik was one of a kind of a genius. And whenever he would meet Rav Shizgal at a wedding, he would run after Rav Shizgal to talk to him. That's what kind of genius he was. But his level of simplicity was so, you spoke to him, it looked like, he was just a guy, from me. That's it, a little tzaddik, a tzaddikel. That's what he looked like. But we're talking about, he was a very, very major Talmud Chacham, and his mind was lightning, everything. And whatever he went through, never complained, never a word about anything. And he always had a smile, and always was over Hashem with full intensity. It was like unbelievable. I mean, literally, these characteristics, he possessed all these characteristics. Somebody, I remember one time, somebody had once stepped on his foot. And he apologized to the person that he was in his way, and that's why he stepped on his foot. You understand what we're talking about over here? Never saw the other person in a negative light. It was his fault that the other person stepped on his foot, so the person shouldn't feel bad that he stepped on his foot.
You acquired this characteristic or you studying your Torah?
There's no question. It's through study of Torah. It's a continuous cognizance, evaluation, and understanding of what it should be, what should not be.
Some people study endlessly and don't have it.
But they don't have Yerushalayim. That's the difference. It's coupled. Look, he had a brother. I know he had a brother who was a little younger than he was. He wasn't on his. Maybe he was a little older. Was not at the same level to any degree. He was 8 years old when he came from Europe. His father was a Rav. And in those days, what was America, He passed away. Rav Moshe had other sons-in-law too. Had another son-in-law too. Passed away at age 50, the day he was born. He lived a full life, so to say. No. He wasn't a Levi. What? Shmuel Levi was a Levi. He wasn't a Levi. He was Yisrael. He was Yisrael.
Did you ever meet him?
I know him very well. He was a very good friend of my